Okay, now that we've made it past the rut of garbage shorts, we'll be starting out with dealing with the couple important anime that I skipped over last episode before continuing on into the other anime. And so we're starting here with Honzuki. I'm not going to read the whole name, but Honzuki is what I call it. Since this is a bookworm is the title in English. But yeah, it's really cute. It is an isekai, but it's a really good isekai. Like that's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? To have an isekai that's actually good, but this one actually manages it. And the main character, what's her? Mine is her name. Mine is the name of the character, or the name of the person that she kind of takes over the body of. But the actual person inside of there is Motosu Urano. But she's really into literature, and she used to just read books all the time. But then she died and got reincarnated into a girl, a really fragile girl, frail. Frail is the word. This frail little girl who, has a hard time even existing. Just like moving around and stuff is kind of difficult. Not that she's like disabled, but just that she is fragile. And gets injured easily. And but she's born into a poor family in a point in time where only the elite had access to literature because books were expensive back then. They didn't have printing presses. It was like if you wanted someone's book and you'd have to contract someone to rewrite the entire thing out by hand. Who does that? A peasant. And, well, if you are a peasant, then it means that you're paying someone your own wage to write it out by hand. That's not something you're going to be able to afford. And it's like, oh yeah, this is going to take like a week to do. And so that means that's a week wages for you to just write out this single book. You don't have that kind of money. You can't afford to just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work for this week and all of my money is going towards someone else just creating this single book for me. Like, that's just not affordable. And so it's only the people who have a lot of money who could afford to pay someone to write something out by hand like that. And so, as someone in a poor family, that's just not an option for her. She does learn to write and to read, and she has like this dream of having even just having a book. Just having a book is like a great thing. It's like an unachievable goal for her. And it's kind of like not really depressing, but it's kind of like you can kind of see it from her point of view of just like how devastating this would be for like the thing that you love the most in the world to exist but just be so unachievable. But yeah, she does various different things to try to get her hands on books. She even tries writing them herself, which in itself is not all that easy, considering the fact that even the materials used to make books are not cheap in the slightest. So that's a hurdle. Even just creating them herself is like ridiculously expensive. But yeah, it's really not easy. And well, yeah, she does her best to overcome that kind of stuff. Not It's not easy. Also, she's very cute. I like the designs in the anime. Mine's cute. Her older was her older sister, younger sister. I think she's. I think the no the green haired one Tuli. She's the older sister. Yeah, mine's older sister. But Tuli's cute. Mine's cute. That's just I like the art style. It's it's cute. Um, it's kind of I guess simplistic in a way, but I like it. And yeah, it's a nice anime. Out of all the isekais out there, it's definitely easily one of the better ones. Um, well, probably because lack of competition. Isekai are usually garbage. They're just like wish fulfillment kind of stuff. Um, but unlike most isekais where it'll be like a guy who in the real world is um, very average and then gets isekai'd out over to another world and now he's overpowered and has a whole bunch of women who want to do things with him. And where this is kind of the opposite, where it's like this girl who actually was, she kind of had everything she wanted in her regular world, and then she gets isekai'd, and now all of that's taken away from her. It's the exact reverse. It's of what a regular isekai would be. And not only is she like not overpowered, like, well, in a way, it's like because she has all of the knowledge of our own world, she's kind of she's powerful in that sense, but she's her powers come from what we would consider average. Like she was that kind of stuff was not remarkable in her own world. Whereas over when she brings them into their world, it's really surprising because no one had that technology before. So yeah, that's kind of the only way that she's overpowered is ways that are considered to be, mundane in her own world. But she's also really weak in a lot of cases. Like her physical body strength is not very high. But yeah, so that's really interesting. It's a very unique isekai, and so if you've seen isekai and you're bored of just how average they all are, how they kind of just seem all the same, I definitely highly recommend this one. It definitely does a good job of getting past that barrier of the idea that all isekai are garbage. It does a really good job. Yeah, definitely recommend. Then another one important anime we watched is Eizouken. In English, it's called Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. Eizouken is a girl. They're all girls, but it's not a cute girls doing cute things because the actual art style isn't really meant to be pretty. And the voice acting also isn't really meant to be pretty. Like the main girl is very raspy sounding. And Sayaka, she's also not particularly attractive. There's one girl, Tsubame, she's a model, and so she's cute. She's the only one of them who's like, traditionally attractive. Like she looks cute, she sounds cute. But she's the only one of them that's like that, which is, interesting. And she's also not the protagonist. But yeah, it's an interesting anime. Taking away from the aesthetics of it, the actual story of it is really interesting. It's sort of like it's kind of like the amateur version of Shirobako, where instead of them being professionals, they're actually just amateurs. They're just high school students who like animation. Um, and so, they have the story of trying, forming the animation club and making animation, which isn't particularly easy. Also, their school already has an anime club, but it's one for just consuming anime rather than creating it, which got in the way of creating their club for some reason, even though they clearly have different goals. But yeah, it's a fun anime. Has a cool plot. The characters, they're definitely they're believable characters. They have good personalities, I think, even if they aren't aesthetically ideal. And but yeah, overall, I think it's a cool anime. And I'd recommend it. Yeah, it's a good show. I think most people agree it's a good show. But yeah, it's a cool anime. And then, I think Gintama would be the next one to talk about. And Gintama has a lot to talk about. My God. Yeah, man. And Gintama, I started 2017. So actually, that was back in 1,000 anime in a year challenge days. That was way back. Yeah, so when I started my first podcast in the series, 1,000 Anime in a Year Challenge, that was when I started watching Gintama back in 2017. And so it's been 4 years, and because I was watching an episode a week, it makes sense that 4 years later I would be done it, but at the same time, it just feels a little surreal that, I've been watching it for so long. And Gintama, it has its ups and downs. That's definitely the case. There's certain parts of it where it's oh, this is kind of bland this week. And other times it's man, they did a really good job. That's really funny. But Gintama, it does a lot of things that a lot of other anime wouldn't really be willing to do. One thing is it breaks the fourth wall a lot of times. Also, it's a lot of referential humor, and the subtitles that I use would kind of explain the references, and not all of them are necessarily anime references. Some people say, oh yeah, once you watch every anime, then you'll finally be able to understand all the Gintama's jokes, and others are no, actually, you might be able to understand half of them if you do that. But a lot of them are from news stories, or from oh, this is a reference to this Japanese TV presenter, or yeah, this thing that happened while it was airing, and if you didn't watch it while it was airing, you probably don't care. Or other things it might be this is based on a commercial that it's making fun of, or is making fun of a Japanese live action movie. And some of the anime they reference, there's one reference, they reference some World Masterpiece Theater anime, Dog of Flanders, or but they reference these older anime that a lot of modern anime fans just don't watch. So there's not necessarily contemporary anime with when Gintama aired. Some of them are really old shows, and so yeah, it's really interesting in that kind of way that it's not afraid to give out references that it doesn't necessarily expect all of its viewers to understand. But in terms of actual plot-wise, plot-wise, it doesn't really have a plot. I've heard in later seasons it has more longer, genuine story arcs. But in the 2006 series, which I guess I probably do need to get into depth about the seasons, man. That's a complicated ball of wax. But yeah, in the 2006 series, um, there are some arcs. None of them really last for more than like 4 or 5 episodes. But yeah, there's definitely some arcs. Some of the arcs are really good, like Benny Zakura, great arc. The Benny Zakura arc was really well done. There's some of these. What was it? I know there's that one with the plates and stuff that was pretty funny. There's an arc that I think that was the arc that had like the whole pooping scene. But yeah, Gintama is not afraid to go into potty humor. um, but yeah, it has a lot of different weird types of humor, and there's like one character who's obsessed with mayonnaise and rice. Um, but yeah, it is like it's comedy heavy. It's not always comedy focused, but it always has comedy as being like a driving force for everything else that happens. And even when non-comedy stuff is happening, they usually still tie comedy into it. So it has like a lot of funny things, but some of the comedy isn't amazing. But a lot of it is really good. And the characters all obviously also intended to be humorous. Gintoki being the main character, and he's like in his late 20s, and this samurai who isn't really able to make much money, even though he runs his own business. And then it was like, what was it? They're kind of like police or something who are sort of like a big part of their cast. But now they have a lot of different interesting characters who do various things. But overall, it's kind of hard to give an overall impression because it does go so many different places. Like in terms of recommending it to people, I know some people say like, oh yeah, it takes 20 episodes to get good, or it takes like 100 episodes to get good. Or someone told me, like I said, oh yeah, I've watched 150 episodes and it's like a 7 out of 10, and it's like, oh well, yeah, at 150 episodes in, it really still is only a 7 out of 10. But when you get further, it's like, what? It's like, yeah, it keeps getting better. Oh yeah, sure. But yeah, and that is like a barrier to entry to some people, that it would get good later. But there's also some people who say it's good right off the bat, or that as long as you skip the first 2 episodes, that it's good. Although I did actually enjoy the first 2 episodes. In fact, like the first 2 episodes, they're not canon. They're made for the manga fans. But they're also just kind of all over the place. Like they make a lot of they intentionally make like a lot of jokes at the very beginning, and you don't understand the characters yet because you haven't been introduced to them, because they expect only manga fans to be watching those 2 episodes. But there is more humor in those because they are humor based, whereas like the first like 10 episodes or something were just introducing the characters, and so the first 2 episodes actually are a lot funnier than the rest of the first 10 episodes. So even though I know most people say to avoid the first 2 episodes, they're not bad episodes. It's just that watching them as the first part of the anime is a weird place to start, because they already have all these characters, and then the third episode finally gets around to like starting to introduce them, but they're not even all there then. So I'd still recommend watching the first 2 episodes, just not not at the beginning. I don't think like you might want to wait until like at least like a couple dozen episodes in, I'd say, until at least you kind of get an idea of what the anime is about, and then go back to the first 2. But yeah, it has a lot of good comedy though. If you like comedy anime, or also like it has like a lot of battle shonen kind of stuff in it as well. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's also a good show. especially if you like Battle Shonen, but would prefer it if it had more comedy in it. It is very episodic though, so not every Battle Shonen fan is definitely going to enjoy it just because it's so humor based and not really plot based much. Yeah, it in some ways it's a very specific type of fan that would enjoy it, but in a lot of other ways it's like it kind of has something for everyone. Um, but yeah, if you do start with the first two and haven't enjoyed it yet, I would still recommend watching a bit past there before shrugging it off as not being something for you, just because they are so different from the rest of the beginning. But yeah, it's still a good show overall. And yeah, in terms of seasons, this isn't related at all to how enjoyable the anime is. But if you're gonna talk to other people about Gintama, there is something important and confusing to remember about how the seasons are laid out. So, on like Funimation, the full 2006 series is listed as being season 1, and my anime list will also call it season 1 because of Funimation. I think Crunchyroll lists it that way as well. Now that's not how Sunrise actually aired it in Japan. The first 49 episodes were season 1. And then he goes on to season 2, then season 3, and then season 4, which are all around 50 episodes each. And so the first 201 episodes on like several streaming platforms in the US are called season 1 collectively. It's just all one big season. Whereas in Japan, that's 4 seasons. And now it could just be considered, oh, well, that's just the American way of labeling the seasons. And then in Japan, it's 4 seasons for the first 201 episodes, and it's all fine. It's just 2 different countries, 2 different ways of listing it. But now we have another confusing problem that it's not every American company agrees on how many seasons the first 201 episodes is, because Hulu considers that to be 4 seasons, and so that's confusing because it means that Funimation and Hulu do not agree on how many seasons the first 201 episodes is. And when you have that collective, that like chunk being all labeled as different amounts of seasons, it means that it puts the other seasons out of whack too. So like Gintama with the apostrophe, which in Japan or also on Hulu is the 5th season. Instead, that's considered to be the 2nd season by Funimation and My Anime List and Crunchyroll. And so it's less confusing to just call the 2006 series season 1 because most people are familiar with the way that Funimation does it. However, because Hulu has decided to go through with calling the first 49 episodes season 1, and then, next chunk of 50 season 2, that it's actually because you might be talking to people who watched it on Hulu. It's less confusing to just call it the 2006 series. Because people know that the 2006 series can be split into 4 seasons, but it's usually listed as being one big chunk. And so if you just say that's the 2006 series, and then the next chunk is Gintama apostrophe, and then the next chunk is Gintama apostrophe and Chosen, whatever it was called, and you know that these are the chunks that it gets split up into, and then after Gintama apostrophe and Chosen, it's Gintama degree, and then Gintama period, and then Gintama period Parorihen. And so yeah, it gets split into these chunks. And Gintama period is also kind of weird because I think some people consider all of Gintama period to be just one big old season, whereas other people split Gintama period into its its components. It's like different arcs because they did all arrow of breaks in the middle of them. So when you're talking about Gintama period, it might be also a good idea to say Gintama period season 1 and then Gintama period and then list like the different arc names, just to avoid confusion. But yeah, I feel like Gintama just lists its different seasons as being different things, to be confusing, because that really does fit just Gintama's whole mentality of being different. To be like, oh yeah, let's just name these different things, different things, and also like in the actual dialogue of the show, they do even refer to what season they're on. Like, oh, we're in the 3rd season, when they're like past like 150. I'm sure that confuses people who watched it on Funimation. It's like, oh, we're not on the 3rd season. We're still in the 1st season. And so, yeah, that's fun. Because, yeah, Gintama is self-referential, and it talks about the things that are happening outside of the canon of the universe. Things like production and things like, oh, this episode is still in its storyboard phase, and they just didn't bother coloring it in or, animating any of the in-between frames. It's still just like sketches. So yeah, they definitely do a lot of things like that, and so it definitely fits into Gintama's mentality to list the seasons as being so confusing on purpose. So yeah, that's fun. So that means that you have to be really specific when you're really talking about it. You can't just say Gintama season 1 and expect everyone in the room to understand what part of it you're talking about. Especially for the later seasons where it's like, oh, which season even is this? Which season is like the 3rd arc of Gintama period? Which season? I don't know. But yeah, it likes to do that kind of stuff, and if you like anime that do that kind of thing, let's say if you like other self-referential anime like Joshiraku or Seito Takai no Ichizone, if you like those kinds of anime, I would recommend Gintama to you, even if you don't like Battle Shonen. Like Battle Shonen is kind of just like the sort of like the canvas that it uses to put all of its comedy and all of its other things on top of. So yeah, if you liked those two anime, or if you like just the concept of self-referential anime and breaking the fourth wall and those kind of things, I definitely recommend it to you for that kind of stuff. But if you like other comedy anime, or even if you like Battle Shonen, it's also good. But after that, I watched Zoku Owari Monogatari, and this is an anime. It's actually, so far right now, it is the last part of the Monogatari series that has been adapted. Zoku Owari Monogatari, the actual translation, Zoku means continuation, and Owari Monogatari means end story. So it is a continuation of the end, which is kind of contradictory. Doesn't end. Well, I guess that kind of just translates to epilogue, doesn't it? Continuation of the end. But epilogue doesn't sound quite as fun as Zoku Owari Monogatari. But yeah, it's a good show. I've think it's actually one of the stronger seasons of Monogatari. Um, but yeah, I can't. Oh yeah, it's like he's graduating and stuff. But yeah, it's that's the end of the thing, and so it still has all of the girls and stuff again, but it kind of wraps things up. And it still takes place before Hana Monogatari, but it takes place after everything else in the Monogatari series. So yeah, if you liked Monogatari, definitely watch this. It's a good, conclusion to the series, even if it isn't chronologically at the very end. And so yeah, it's a good show. Anyway, I feel like I've probably talked enough today. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again next time, and goodbye.